Adam, the White Hair Master. Season 2. Episode 29. While guarding his land, Mr. John discovered the sound of an engine coming towards him. Rushing out of the tent, he realized that the village head and the project manager were coming. At John's disobedience, the excavator driver hesitated to move forward. Seeing that, the village headman was extremely angry and chased the driver down. After chasing the driver down, the village head personally drove the excavator. He controlled the machine closer to John. At this time, he loudly threatened, if John still refused to cooperate, he would excavator raze everything on John's land. Faced with threats from the village head, Mr. John showed no fear. He even loudly challenged the village head. Although the village head said that he would use an excavator to level everything, but he did not know how to operate the excavator. Sitting in the cabin, he repeatedly pushed the levers in front of him. His aim was only to get closer to Mr. John to scare him. There is one thing that the village head himself did not expect. It was his unintentional actions that triggered a series of operations of the excavator. Just like that, the excavator's bucket kept moving unpredictably. The village headman became more and more alarmed and frantic. The excavator is like an unruly horse. It constantly has movements beyond the control of the village head. Although he saw the excavator's bucket rushing towards John, the village head didn't know what to stop this machine. As a result, John was hit in the head by the excavator's bucket. But the bad things didn't stop there. After slamming John in the head, the excavator bucket continued to press down hard on his body. The sound of bones being crushed continued to be heard. Everything happened so fast that John did not have time to react, not even making a sound. Death came to him very suddenly, as if he had not yet felt the pain. The soul had left the body. The village headman at this time was extremely scared. His face was pale, and his limbs were shaking. Even when he got out of the excavator's cab, he couldn't even stand and fell to the ground. After looking at John's motionless body, the village head repeatedly clarified that he did not mean to harm him. His sole purpose was to frighten John. In a panic, the village head suggested calling the police so they could sort things out. If the people present at the scene had followed the instructions of the village head, perhaps nothing would have happened. But at the same time, there is the director of the project. Witnessing the incident from the beginning until now, he understood that if he reported to the police, this project would be suspended indefinitely. It would be a massive loss for his company. So the project director suggested burying John's body to clear this matter. It was not difficult for the project manager to convince the village head and the driver. Because all three were present at the scene and were more or less involved in John's death, everyone was afraid of facing the police and ending in prison somewhere. So everything must be covered up before anyone finds out. At the project manager's request, the excavator driver dug a hole and dumped John's body into it. Along with disposing of John's body, the project director also devised a perfect plan to explain his disappearance. The project manager asked the village head to spread the rumor that John was compensated with the exact amount he wanted. After taking the money in hand, Mr. John went to the city and met a young woman. Because of being single for a long time, John decided to buy an apartment to live in with the woman. The three of them agreed on the plan after thoroughly cleaning the scene. Thanks to this perfect plan of the project director that no one doubts because of John's disappearance, the project thus continued to proceed smoothly. Both the village head and the project manager thought that everything would end well when no one questioned John anymore. But things are not so. After death, John turned into a ghost and began to take revenge on those who killed him. The first person to die was the son of the village head. but the most terrifying thing is that not long after, the village head himself also lost his life in the same way as his son. John's unjust soul sinks deeper and deeper into hatred. After killing the village headman, it was still not satisfied. John's wretched soul waited a long time for a chance to avenge the project manager. But after 2 horrific deaths on the construction site, the project manager did not set foot in the area where he had dumped John's body even a step. Too resentful, while not knowing what to do for revenge, John's spirit dragged 2 poor workers down a sandpit and brutally killed them. At this time, the story of the evil spirit has been clarified. Adam also understood more about the nature of the ghost in front of him. In Adam's words, he completely sympathized with what John's soul had to go through. Killing the village head for revenge is understandable, but for John's ghost to kill 2 workers, Adam could not forgive him. Before Adam's arguments, John's ghost was furious. It constantly curses those who have killed people. Knowing that he can't do anything to Adam, John's ghost begins to convince Adam to find a way to bring the project director here for revenge. John's ghost also repeats Adam's promise to help him fulfill his wish. Adam had indeed promised to help this ghost solve the unfinished vow, but at this time, he had flatly refused. According to Adam, all grudges will end there. People in the underworld cannot forever pursue and cause harm to earthly people. As for the project director, Adam promised to ask for legal intervention to pay for what he had done. Having cleared things up here, Adam spoke to John's ghost that it was time to go. Ahead will be a new stage that he must go through to start a new life. As soon as he finished speaking, Adam took out the talismans from his pocket and arranged them in a circle on the ground. Although not committed to this action of Adam, but John's ghost has no way to stop him. Pinching 2 fingers together to form a seal, Adam began to point towards the circle on the ground and recite the incantation. The gate to the underworld was gradually opened, accompanied by a strong attraction that made John's ghost unstoppable. A series of horrifying screams resounded, accompanied by a violent storm. Too scared to see what was happening, Sarah had to close her eyes to be less afraid. When she opened her eyes, everything had returned to normal. Still seemingly stunned by what she had just witnessed, Sarah looked around and asked Adam about the ghost she had just seen. Adam immediately explained that everything was resolved. The ghost was taken by him to where it should have been a long time ago. At this point, Sarah began to question Adam's decision. She did not understand why he did not help the ghost get revenge. According to Sarah, the project director deserved it. After hearing Sarah's innocent thoughts, Adam explains that if John's ghost kills more people, his crimes will be worse. It will be tough for him to have a good life in the next life. Adam then asked Sarah to call her police friend, asking him to send the police here to investigate this. A few hours after receiving Sarah's report, the police arrived at the scene and conducted an investigation. Thanks to the assurance from Sarah's friend, the police never inquired about who reported the information to the police. Thanks to that, Adam and Sarah avoided a lot of trouble. As soon as they arrived, the police cordoned off the scene and dug to find John's body. After about half a day, John's body was found and brought to the surface. Intentionally blending in with the crowd of curious people jostling to watch the police at work, Adam tried his best to keep the police from paying attention to him. The reason Adam did this was that he did not have many good experiences when facing the police. At this time, Sarah approached Adam and said that she wanted to ask for help. Actually, the person who wanted to help was Sarah's police friend. From the information that Sarah provided, he believes that Adam will help him. As soon as he heard someone needed Adam's help, he immediately accepted the offer. but he repeatedly emphasized that he would only be able to do things within his power. Then he started asking about the problem Sarah's friend was having. After receiving Adam's consent, Sarah was pleased. She believes that Adam will handle this. Then she briefly recounted the trouble her friend was having. Accordingly, this story is related to a murder case, and Sarah's friend is stuck in finding the culprit.